Hey, we're out here at the garden again, and we're going to talk about something that everybody's in need right now. Look at this here. Got a nice row of toilet paper we're going to start growing here. And then I missed my coffee out, so I'm going to grow some coffee too. So anyway, that's not really what's going on here, but we will talk about how we can use these. So we're going to talk a little bit about this guy. This is a cutworm. Look how big he is. Actually, he's only about that big. But this is a cutworm, and this is something you're going to see early in your garden, and there's a few ways to prevent it. So the story with the cutworm is it's the larvae of a moth. So this guy's going to be showing up early spring. He's hiding out somewhere out here in the garden already. And when you plant a nice new fresh plant, he's going to get in there and he's going to cut right into the stem and start eating. They can eat the entire plant in a short amount of time. So you can lose beans, and they really are generalists. So they're going to go after just about any kind of plant they can get. So there's a couple things that you can do. One is you can take a toilet paper roll, and I usually would like to cut them a little bit shorter than this. You can cut them off, or you can even use them this side sometimes. But what you're going to do is, if you're planting, let's say we're going to plant squash in this mound here, we would take the toilet paper roll and we would sink it in the ground at least an inch under the ground. And then you want to have an inch sticking up out of the ground. So what you're going to do, that's what you're going to do. And when you have that inch sticking out of the ground, you go ahead and fill a little more dirt in it. And then we can just put like our squash seed right in here. And what's going to happen is the squash is going to grow out of this, and then the cutworm, which is going to be coming up from the soil, can't get to the stem of the squash, and they're not really that adapted. They don't really want to climb up this roll, so they're going to kind of stay away from it. So that's one thing that you can do. You can also use a coffee cup for it. You just want to take the bottom out of the coffee cup and do basically a similar thing. I would cut it and leave part of it in. So what you're doing is just keeping the cutworms from getting to the area that they're going after. One of the other things that you can do is you can take the young plant and you can just take the young plant stem. Just get yourself a little piece of and write the stem right just at the ground level, and just wrap one layer of tinfoil around it, so that what is going to happen, and you would do that on your plant when you were putting it in. Initially what's going to happen is the same thing. It's going to stop it from getting there. You don't want to put too much tinfoil on, only about an inch or two above the soil line, and if you could get a little bit of it below the soil line, that works too. So that's going to work with the cutworm. So the other things that you can do for cutworm on your plant, if you don't do this, and this is great for small gardens. If you're planting 100 plants, it might be a little hard with all the toilet paper rolls. Another thing that you can do is around the area where the plant is, you can put diatomaceous earth. Diatomaceous earth is ground up fossils, and so what it is to us it's not really sharp edges, but to the little bugs they have little sharp edges, and so as they crawl across it actually cuts them and makes them a little bit uncomfortable. The other, on the bigger picture scale, that you can do in your garden is you want to encourage birds in your garden, and you want to encourage lightning bugs. So building some more natural areas, because birds will actually feed on the little cutworms, and so will the lightning bugs will actually go after the cutworm eggs. So that's a couple things that you can do. Remember, this guy, no fun. It can ruin your gardening season early.